You know, Stamati, they say age is just a number, right? Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you, when I was about to turn 30, I had anxiety. I had a lot going through my head, like, fuck, I'm about to turn 30. Where's my life gone? What have I achieved in life? What the hell is going on? I'm not married. I don't have kids. I don't own any property. Like, fuck, what is going on in my life? And I started stressing out because, you know, by the time my dad was 30, he had 4 properties, you know, he didn't have a kid. He had a kid later. But, you know, like he was well established. And yeah, like I tried to compare myself to that. But then again, I thought, oh, you know, hang on. He came out to Australia as an 18, 19-year-old. His brother was already here. So he was half established at the time that he came over because my uncle had already started building his empire. So got him involved. And then my dad, you know, proceeded from there. And, you know, having that Greek mentality, work hard. Whereas I didn't have that. I was more like, you know, get educated, not the work hard part.
Priming yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
So, you know, the anxiety really kicked in. And I remember I was really depressed when I was about to turn 30. And just this past weekend, I turned 40. And I actually haven't felt like any of that negativity. It's more like, you know what?
No, 'cause you know what it is?
40, it's a number.
Not my parents. Oh, yeah, my parents. They were, my mum was 19, I reckon it was. My parents were 19 and my mum was 20, maybe. And I was at my dad's 21st, right? They started young. But, like, say, my grandparents, you know, like you say, your dad, they'll probably be the same generation. They started everything young, man. They started everything young. That's just how it was back then. We can't compare ourselves to what our sort of parents or grandparents did, like where they were at that particular age. Like for us.
I guess it's because I grew up under that style of life.
You're the direct,
I was the direct,
generation.
the next generation of that Greek-born. You know, I think the expectation on me was high that I should have achieved all this by the time I got to 30. You know, even by the time I got to 25.
Yeah, that's fair.
But at 25, you know, my main objective was traveling the world, making sure I get around the world and I get to see Greece and do this, do that, go on Kontiki, you know, get with a lot of chicks and, you know, like... Sow the seeds and reap the rewards. No, is that how it goes? Anyway,
something like that. Yeah, we know. What
sow my seeds. You know, or you know, you know what I mean. But you know, I guess it was anxiety and depression because that's what was expected from my old man at that age. But now I look at it and, like, you know, I've just turned 40. And to me, I looked at it as, you know what? It's just another number.
It is.
It's another year in my life. I should be blessed that I'm getting up every morning. I'm breathing air. I'm walking. I've got a roof over my head. I've got a really loving family. I don't have that dad there to give me the pressure anymore. But I look at him and, you know, if he was alive, would he be giving me the pressure right now? I don't think he would.
No.
I think times have changed a lot.
I think so.
I've got the family. You know, I've achieved a lot in the last 10 years. So I honestly do think that, you know, I feel like my 40s are going to be probably the best 10 years that, you know.
That's how you have to have a look at, you have to look at it. You can't look at, oh, fuck, I'm 30 and what have I done with my life? You got to look at, okay, now that you're 40, now you look back and you're like, fuck, I have achieved a lot in 10 years or 5 years.
Yeah.
It's pretty good, you know. You know, that sort of pressure, like, oh, fuck. There's no set age to have what you think is your life is complete. There's no set age. And that's, you know, society puts that pressure on us where, you know, you have to have a certain amount in your bank account by this certain age. You have to have a house by this certain age. You got to have an investment property by this certain age. There's no real set age for that.
There was an article that I read the other day saying that for for a couple to comfortably retire today, they need to be earning a combined income of over 250,000 per annum in order to live comfortably and retire comfortably.
Yeah.
And I think to myself, we'll discuss that when I get there.
Yeah.
You know, like I've got a permanent job. My wife's got a permanent job. We're doing well.
Yep.
I've got that extra little income through the entertainment business. But if I didn't, I'd still be okay.
Yep.
Yes, cost of living is going up.
Yeah. Of course.
Yes, petrol is going up. Yes, interest rates are going up. But we're not suffering. Like, we're managing well because we know how to manage well. But yeah.
I remember, so when my grandparents, they were in Adelaide and they moved over down to Mount Gambier because my dad opened up a shop there. So they packed up everything here and left over there. And then my bubble passed away over there, but my year has since moved back and my dad's here now and all that sort of stuff. Oh my God, where was I going with this story? It'll come to me. Yeah. No, I've lost it.
You just remember that they moved over to Mount Gambier.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
He's lost it.
I've lost it.
We've all lost it.
Damn.
We've all lost it. But yeah, like, you know, I had a lot of mixed conversations with people. Like, you know, oh, you know, you're turning 40. It's all downhill from here. And then I've got other people, it's just a number.
Oh, I remember. So they sold a house, their house, to the lady next door. Now, she was in her early 30s as a part-time teacher, but this lady had 4 investment properties. Single person, no kids, no husband, no nothing. So it doesn't matter how much you're earning. It matters how you manage what you have. Single person, probably no more than 60, 70 grand a year back then, probably not even, managed to get 4 investment properties.
Yeah.
Mate, you don't need this article that you read. I don't really agree with that because it's 250 grand to be living comfortably and retire and all that sort of stuff. No, it's what you do with what you have.
And which is a great topic because we shouldn't believe half the shit that we read in the media.
Correct.
And we'll get onto that a bit later on with some topics that you raised earlier on about what we're going to talk about tonight. But yeah, I just think, like, you know, I was talking to quite a few people and a lot of them have turned 40 and one was freaking out. Like, you know, he's been 40 for 2 months now and he's been freaking out going, oh, you know, and he was actually shaking, talking to me like, 2 months on, and it's the worst feeling, and this and that, and I'm thinking to myself, bro, look at yourself. Take a whiff of what's going on here. You have got a very successful business. You've got 3 beautiful kids, a wife, a fucking phenomenal home over your head, and I had to slap the guy. I go, I'm literally less than 24 hours old in 40s, and here I am slapping the shit out of him, going, just relax, breathe. I don't know. Each person takes age in a different way.
I think so. Yeah, I mean, when I turned 30, I wasn't happy about it, but you know, I'm turning 32 in a few weeks. And
spring chicken.
Yeah, spring chicken. Like, I'll say to myself, oh, fuck, I feel old. And then you got someone that's in their 50s, but mate, your life hasn't even started yet, you know?
Oh, well, it is what it is.
It is.
Age is just a number, guys.
It is, mate.
And you know what? There's no point in getting depressed over this shit. Unless you're, you know, like, you know, say 50, haven't had sex yet.
Yeah, well.
50-year-old virgin.
50-year-old virgin.
I like the movie 40-Year-Old Virgin.
It was a good movie.
Imagine 50 and not having had a root yet.
And you know what? And they can't even make movies like that anymore, man. Honestly.
Oh, hey, we were talking about that at work today, about how it's really rare that you get slapstick comedy anymore. You know, like the old school movies where people would belt the shit out of each other, even like Home Alone. You wouldn't get that style of comedy anymore because people are far too sensitive these days.
Tropical Thunder, forget it. Can you imagine they made that today?
Yeah. I know. They would never be able to make that.
No, too many people get offended.
No. I mean, there was, there was a recent Netflix movie, and they flashed a nipple,
Oy.
like a woman's nipple.
Yep.
And I kid you not, the comments I saw on Facebook about it going, oh my God, they flashed a nipple.
Oh,
What has the world come to?
give it a rest.
I'm like, what? Man, I used to watch, like, what was that movie with Steven Seagal and the stripper pops out of the cake? Under Siege.
Oh, jeez.
Under Siege.
Wow, okay.
And, like Carmen Electra pops out of the cake, boobs and all.
Yeah.
And, like, that were fantastic times. But, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you just don't get that anymore.
Oh,
it's like people are afraid to see nudity.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
It's just you offend too many people. The film companies don't want the heat, and it's just like, mate, everyone's a bit soft, I think.
Guys, as you can hear, it's just the two of us here tonight. Petros has dogged us again.
Mate.
Apparently, he's sick tonight.
Come on, Petros.
Yep. And he was sick last week too. And
Come
I
on,
meant to do
Petros.
an episode with him, but he reckons we'll be on. Me and him will be on next week because
Oh, beautiful.
Sunday we've been invited to the International Men's Lunch
Okay. That's
by
good.
Sarah Game. So hopefully we can have a really good episode debriefing the event.
Beautiful.
But for now, it's Val and Stamati here on Two Blokes in a Pod.
This is Two Blokes in a Pod.
Hey, what is that?
The podcast where, well, it's a bit of this, a bit of that,
I don't understand.
just blokey laughs and blokey chats.
Okay.
Whatever it is, let's get started.
Yes, Two Blokes in a Pod.
Yes, it is.
Hey, so I had a couple of people I bumped into on the weekend, and they go to me, Val, what's going on with the podcast?
What do you mean?
This is females, mind you.
Oh,
They're like, what's going on with the podcast? We haven't heard you for a few weeks, and
yeah.
I go, oh no, we're back on,
Yeah.
and I've got a structured plan now where. If I get dicked by one person, I've definitely got a
Another.
backup. And that backup seems to be, probably leaning more towards a permanent replacement at some stage. And they're like, oh, yeah. We love the new co-host and this and that. And so big shout out to Joe and John. They know who they are, but they're very avid listeners and very good comments that I'm getting out there.
It's good.
I've got lots of really random people that have messaged in after the episode with Sarah Game, that have joined the podcast community and or the Two Blokes in a Pod community.
Yep.
So big shout out to all you fellas for joining in.
Thanks, guys.
And like I said in previous episodes, if you want to get in contact with us and shoot us any questions or some funny comments for us to download and debrief on our next episode, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Two Blokes in the Pod, TWO Blokes in the Pod.
Yep.
And also you can email us, twoblokesinaPod@gmail.com. What's going on, Stamati? How's your week been, or how's the last couple of weeks been?
Yeah, not bad. So I this is going to sound weird, right? But as a Greek Australian, I love playing this Italian card game called Briscola.
Oh, who doesn't love Briscola?
I love it, and I love Scorpa even more. But I love playing Briscola. Now, very very good friend of mine, almost like a father figure, Charlie Dottore. He sort of runs the Australian Briscola Championship down at Serafino. So I've been playing there with my partner, Daniel Pictionary, best mates since 2005. Probably heard that in the first time I came on. We've been playing, I think, down there for the last 4 or 5 years. And there's another little, like smaller, it's a South Australian championship. And I played on Sunday, yesterday. Didn't get out of the group stages this time, but it's good fun, man. It was like $60, and you get antipasto, you get drinks, you get a nice lunch, And it's just good to get out of the house and just play a game against other people that are just as passionate about the game. And but in I think it was January or February this year, we had the Australian Championships down at Serafino, and Daniel and I came. I think it was in the top 8 out of.
What, in Australia?
Yeah.
Wow.
Out of, I think it was 120 people. So, yeah, we take it very seriously.
120 people or 120 partnerships?
No, so it'll be 60 partners. So out of 60 partners, we finished in the top 8, and it's extremely hard to do. Hard to do.
That's huge.
And
yeah, we used to play it in school all the time.
Oh, it's the best game.
And you know, I've still got my packet of cards.
I got a pack of cards everywhere, man. I was cleaning out my junk drawer the other day. You know, you got your 3 drawers in your bedroom, you got your jocks, your socks, and your all the other shit.
Yeah.
I had a packet in my jocks drawer, a packet in my socks drawer, 2 packets in my junk drawer. I got a packet in my center console in my car.
Yeah.
So whoever's willing to play, man, I'll play. So it's good. It's good. So
that's really good. Yeah, and it's a really exciting game.
It is.
Yeah, we used to play at lunch and recess, and every time we had a free period.
Yeah, it's so good, man.
And mind you, this is a Greeks college, St. George. But we had one guy who came from an Italian school.
Yep.
So he introduced it to us.
Yeah.
And it was great. It was really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, my ultimate favorite card game is Uno.
Uno always ends up in an argument. That one.
Uno.
Can you draw 2, then draw 2 again? But apparently you can't. You know they released the rules. You can't put a draw 2 on top of a draw 4 card.
No, you can't do that.
Well, I was
not on a draw 2 on a draw 4. You can do draw 2s on a draw 2.
Yeah, but
you can't do draw 4s on a draw 2 or a draw 2 on a draw 4.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
But
man.
you can do draw 4s on draw 4s.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like, you can't draw 4 onto a wild and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But,
See, I was always doing that as a kid.
No.
So when they said it, I think it was earlier this year or late last year, they said it. I'm like, that's fucking bullshit, mate. I've been doing that my whole bloody life.
I've been playing.
Who reads the rules, man?
So I've got the Uno game on my phone, and I connect with people around the world.
Oh, bullshit.
And I play tournaments every week.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, as far as I can remember, I've never like that. Yeah, you've never been able to put a draw 4 on a draw 2.
Can you do skip?
The only time you can put a draw 4 on a draw 2 is if someone has already picked up the cards for the draw 2.
Yeah.
And it's the person after's.
Okay, so you can't put it. So it's like a compounding effect. It's more like it's a new card.
It's a new card.
Yeah.
So, or you can put a draw 2 on a draw 4 as a new card if it's that color that the person picked.
So then would it be draw 6 or would it just a new?
No, it would be a new draw 2.
Okay, gotcha.
It won't follow on from the draw 4.
It's that
because so for example, it's me, you, and Bob playing.
Yeah.
Right. You put the draw 4 down.
Yeah.
I don't have a draw 4 to compound on top.
Yeah.
So I pick up the 4.
Okay.
Bob, and you said red. Bob now has a draw 2 red.
Yeah.
He can put that down, but it gives the draw 2 to you.
Yeah, right.
Unless you have a draw 2 to then follow that on. So we played a game once. There was about 5 of us playing.
Yeah.
And I kid you not, 10 draw 2s in a row.
Far out.
That's 20 goddamn cards.
Oh, I feel sorry for that poor
right?
bastard.
Oh, they were not happy. They were not happy. And, you know, like it's all based on how many points you have in your hand at the end. And the one with the lowest points is the winner. Yeah. This guy, this poor bloke, because, you know, black card is worth 50 points. And then a...
draw 2 and all that is
draw
like
2,
25.
reverse, and... skip is 20, and the rest are numbered.
Yeah.
He ended up on about 300 something points.
Oh, far out, fucking rolled.
Yeah, and I won that round on 0, so it was good.
So they're like the controversial games along with Monopoly. Have
have
you ever finished Monopoly without just throwing the bloody thing?
No, I've always done well in Monopoly, but I've never ever won Monopoly because everyone has given up by the time that we get to that
Goes
point.
For hours, man.
It does. It's Monopoly and Uno are those 2 games where if you want a challenge and you want an argument and fight,
play them.
Play them. They bring the best out of people.
Or the worst.
We'll say the best. The best. because the best of people is usually the worst.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we were talking earlier, and obviously, you know, we've just come off the mental health month. We're now in Movember. At work, we're raising a lot of money for Movember.
Yep.
People are growing mows, and they asked me to do it too. I said, fuck no. I'm not shaving my beard, and I'm not growing a dirty mow.
So can you, I don't know, is this allowed? Can you just have your beard, but then, you know, maintain your sort of beard, but then leave your mow? Can you do that? I don't know, is there a rule?
So you mean shave everything under your nose and around your mouth?
No. So like, say like you and I, we have beards, right? So like every week I'll just trim mine, so it's
okay, trim the beard,
but leave the mow. Can you do that?
I don't know. You could, I guess.
Bit of a grey area.
I mean, if it's emphasised, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you could. I couldn't do it because I just need to have consistency throughout.
I look ridiculous.
Yeah, and there's no way I was going to shave my face because I look like an absolute baby.
Yep.
Especially, you know, like going into my 40th birthday, there was no way in hell that I would shave my beard. But there's one guy at work doing it. We've already raised about $100 for him.
Oh, beautiful.
So, you know, it's a good cause because prostate cancer and also men's general health is what benefits from this charity.
Yep.
So, you know, we're doing it at work and we're raising a lot of funds. It's just, I love the progress. I love the progress of this guy's face because he was like me. Yeah. He had a really nice beard and he hasn't shaved his beard for multiple years. He said the last time he shaved, and he's like close to 50, the last time he shaved his beard, he would have been early 20s.
Yeah.
Right? So it was a big thing for him,
yeah.
But he did it.
I think the last time I shaved completely, I reckon I've done it once in 15 years. Well, I've been with Katrina now for almost 13 years, and she's only ever seen me once clean shaven. She said, "Don't you ever do that again."
In my 10 years of marriage, I don't think I've shaved at all. Not once. I'm too afraid to, for two reasons. My kids would freak out because they've never seen me without a beard. And Siri won't recognize me if I was to unlock my phone. Oh, look, and she's talking to me. No, I'm not talking to you, Siri.
Yeah.
She wouldn't recognize me if I was to shave.
So you can't get your Face ID or whatever it is.
No.
It won't work.
No, and like I enjoy unlocking my phone with my face.
Yeah, it's easier.
But another topic that we were talking, now that we're talking workplaces, is obviously workplace stress. So I know you want to touch on that one.
Yeah, I mean, look, you know, pressures of deadlines, work output, people relying on you. Like you would have, you know, sort of clients that obviously need that in your sort of workplace. They would need help, mental help, you know, financial help and all that sort of stuff. For me, it's more like, okay, like even today, I went after work, I went and quoted a job, and the lady asked me, "Oh, how long is it going to take?" I said, "Oh, look, I can't right now give you a definitive answer. Like, you know, it might be 3 weeks or 3 guys. Oh, that long? Oh, well, you know, you got a lot of meters there. You know, a lot of substrates that need painting. So there's always the pressures of, oh, I need a good job, but I need it fast. Well, it's not going to be cheap. You know, I need a cheap. What is it? You can have those 3 things. You can only have 2 out of the 3. What is it? Cheap, fast, and good quality. You can only have 2. You can't have the third. You know, so if you want a cheap job that's fast, well, it's not going to be good. If you want a good job that's fast, it's not going to be cheap. You know, so I always sort of, I don't say that to the clients because then you sound like a dickhead. But you know, all the pressures.
Can you have a good job that's cheap?
Can you have a good job? No, you can't. Come on, man, now you get my brain working. Fucking hell.
Well, you said you can't have a...
No, you got to have 2, but you can't have the third.
Yeah. So, but can you have a good job that's cheap?
No, good and fast, not cheap. Cheap and fast, not good. And what was the other one?
So you can't have good and cheap?
No. It's impossible.
Why is it impossible?
Because I've been doing it for 16 years to not make any money. So anyway, and then, it sort of got me thinking today. I know I rang you and I was sort of discussing it a little bit. The pressures of work, sometimes your mind's not on the job, and you make mistakes. And I was reading today, workplace injuries in Australia as of 2022 was 497,300. That's too many.
That's huge.
So that's, you fill up the MCG almost 5 times.
Yeah.
Workplace deaths, 169 in 2001. That was the latest release. And 163 out of 169 were men. So you can see like the pressures of work, pressures of cost of living, pressures of this. Especially if you're working in a trade job, operating a crane or every bloody couple of months I'm hearing about a Sparky electrocuting themselves. They're not thinking on the job. The pressures. You're not thinking, you make mistakes, and it could cost you your life. That's a real thing.
And you know what? Like, it comes down to things that we've talked about many times on this podcast about, in society and in history of everyday life or of human life, the man has always been seen as the provider.
Correct.
Right? So if the man's mind isn't on the job and there's different pressures at home, there's breakups, the kids, there's stuff going on with the kids, they're the ones that will end up suffering on that grind because they're not fully concentrating on what, especially if they're in a laborious job. Like only a few weeks ago, someone got crushed by a crane. Okay, that could have been a freak accident, and it didn't mean that the person who got crushed was the one that not concentrating, but the person operating the crane may have been that person, right? Or how about the bus driver where that went off track and killed a whole busload of people? You don't know what's going through these people's head and life at the time, and I just think that because the pressure of the job and the timing of that job is crucial, these people have no way to say, listen, I need to take a day off. I need a sickie today. I need to do this and that just to recoup myself, right? I feel the same in my job. Like I don't have a laborious job. I have more of a services job, but there are days where I want to stay home because I'm not feeling well, but I feel like I can't because I'm expected to deliver a service. I'm expected to help someone and to complete my role in my job. So it's quite hard. And then I get to work. Do you think that my mind's on the job and concentrating?
No. You have to there in your job.
Yeah.
You got people that are, suffering mentally. I don't know if you want to get into that or not, but, people that are depending on you, you can't have a shit day.
Correct.
Because you've got to be that.
And if we are having a shit day, we have to put on a facade.
Correct.
And act like everything's okay.
And you can only do that for so long.
I've seen colleagues that have just blown up in their seats. They've just completely gone, you know what? I can't do this anymore. I'm going home. I can't do this anymore today. And, are they having troubles outside the home and bringing it to work with them?
Of course they are. They're human.
Or is it just that one client that continuously is hammering them?
It could be both. They could have the home stresses, and they go to work, and then that one client or two clients that they deal with that day just push them over the edge. That client could be dealing with something similar. Like let's say yourself and your family, you're having dramas in a particular topic or particular subject or whatever. And then you go to work and then you go visit this family and they're going through the exact same thing that you're going through. of course it's going to hit home a bit. You're fucking human. You're not a machine.
You know, you've been following my podcast for quite some time, and you've obviously heard the episode that I said, you know, when my dad passed away.
Yeah, you had to go back to work. I was on that podcast.
Yeah, and I was asked to go back to work earlier than I wanted to go back. I wasn't ready to go back, but because I had so much on my plate, I'd not only just losing my dad, but then, you know, instantly becoming the head of the family and running the business and all that. It instantly got to my head that I'm like, fuck, how am I going to deal with all this shit? And here I am completely fucking up on my day job. And then I get reprimanded for it. And it's like, well, fuck, what was I meant to do? What was I meant to do? Like, I had no way out. And I made it was a simple mistake, but it was enough to, you know, get me more than a slap on the wrist. So, you know, try explaining that to HR. You know, I couldn't concentrate because of all things going on in my life. Half the time I feel like HR doesn't care or doesn't listen.
Nah.
You know, until they've gone through the same thing that I've gone through. But look, workplace pressures is it's getting tough.
It is.
It's getting tough in your business. Trying to keep clients happy when you're one person.
And you know, it's probably not so much now because I'm focusing on more of the top end sort of market builders and all that sort of stuff. But when I was first starting, there was a lot of competition, you know, price. People, like, you know, they wanted a good job and quick, but for cheap. It's like, well, in order for me to do it quicker, I need more guys, let's say I'm paying them $1,500 to $1,700 a week. Well, if I'm there for 3 weeks, do the math. I'm not going to go to work and earn less money than what I'm paying, because then what's the point? I'll go work for someone else. You know, so yeah, at the start, it was more trying to get the price right and competing with other painters.
Question though, did you find that at the start of your business, like when you first went out on your own, were you taking anything and everything coming your way just to get your name out?
Yes.
Yeah.
At that time, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, look, I'm a bit blessed where, you know, sort of the name's out there a little bit. Adelaide Small. Look, you're not going to make everyone happy. I've had a couple of clients where nothing I could do would make them happy. But you know, 95% or 98% of the clients are really happy. Like the other day, I did this job in Lightsview, and it was a Greek girl, a single Greek girl with kids, and she asked me to, you know, give her a quote. Gave her a quote, did the job, and she was so appreciative. She was like, "Oh my goodness, the house looks amazing." Did inside and out for her, inside and out. She goes, "Oh my God, like how from what it was to what it is now. Can't have a thank you. You can't wipe the smile off my face." I left a beautiful review on my Facebook page, and you know, as I left, you know, I called my wife and I said, you know, there's not many people like that anymore. That they're just so, like, I know it's only a paint job, right? I know it's not like I'm not making gold or whatever. But every now and again, it's nice to be acknowledged and for, you know, what you've been doing for, like I said, in January it'll be 16 years for me in the painting industry, and next week will be 4 years of me as SP Painting Services. You know, she was probably the one client I can remember that she was just so appreciative and just complimenting everything. Didn't scrutinize, like didn't try and screw me down on price, didn't nothing. It was just the most easiest transaction I've had in my career. And it was just so nice and refreshing. Like, because I know I put in a lot of hard work into this house to make her, you know, she's on her own. I want to give her a good job, you know. And it was just, she just happened to be scrolling through Facebook. We're not even friends on Facebook. She just happened to be scrolling through and she just saw SP Painting. And she goes, "Oh,
power of social media."
Oh, it is. And she goes, you know, Stamati, the carpets, with, you know, blinds, with this and that, I got, you know, 3 or 4 quotes. You're the only painter I got for a quote, you know. And I was just, I'm like, oh, wow. She goes, you know, 'cause I've seen your work on social media, and, you know, I was more than willing to give you an opportunity. And your price was, you know, was decent. And yeah, she was just so happy, and it just made me feel good. And like, because of the whole going through the process, you know, she wanted little extras here and there, didn't charge her for it. Like, you know, she wanted her vents for her aircon painted. She wanted just all these little bits and pieces, didn't charge her for it because she was just so like nice and genuine. It just makes you feel so happy.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, that's the same with me and my business, my small business of entertainment and DJing and all that. And, you know, when I first started, I was taking anything that came my way to build that name. And I wasn't charging much at all.
No, you can't.
No, I didn't know any better back then. And I was like, for example, I'd be charging people $250 for a party back when I was, you know, 17.
Yeah.
But $110 of that would go towards hiring equipment. So I'd literally be walking around away with $140 in my pocket, which I then ended up giving to my dad to buy my own equipment. You know, so I would do anything that came my way.
Yep.
If someone called me, oh, can you do this? Can you do that? Yeah, no worries. You know,
You have to at the start, man.
and now, like, we're talking. Well, so I'm 40 now, and I started when I was 16. You know, all those years ago, and now look at I can pick what I want to do.
Yep.
And yes, I have had those clients where it doesn't matter what I did that night, they were never going to be happy. But then I've also had those clients where it doesn't matter what I did that night, they were bloody happy. I could play any type of music, even Chinese at a Greek event, and they would be so goddamn happy because they just wanted atmosphere, and that's what we created for them.
It just makes you feel good.
You know,
doesn't it?
oh, absolutely. And you're right. The ones that leave you that review, that 5-star review, it's like, oh my God, it makes you feel good. But then you've got those ones that just, you walk away and you know that it wasn't a good night. And I've had a lot of those.
Yeah.
But, you know, I do the same thing week in, week out. I give it 100%. I give it all my energy. And, you know, it all comes down to the type of people and the crowd. If the crowd are the boppy people,
It's going to be easy.
it's going to be an easy night,
Easy.
you know? But if the crowd are those deadbeats that just don't get up and dance,
Oh, well,
it's like, well,
Doesn't matter
why
how
did
much-
you even hire a DJ?
yeah, it doesn't matter how much Geffy you try to bring, you know, it doesn't matter how many bangers you play, how many top hits, whatever. If they're going to
Yeah.
sit down, they're going to sit down, man.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a shit night because no one's on the dance floor. And it's nothing that you're doing wrong. It's just how those people are.
That's right. And now I'm at that level where I can say, look, this is my price. Oh, can you do it any cheaper? No, this is my price.
Yep.
Like, I'm not going to give discount just because, hey, I know you and we're good mates. This is my price. I'm going to be standing up the front there all night long. I'm going to bring all my equipment that's insured, and I've spent multiple thousands of dollars on. I've done this, I've done that. I've properly purchased my music. I've done, you know, all this. This is my price.
Yeah. And that's the difference. So, like,
So take it or leave it. And most of the times, people will take it because it's like, well, we're actually asking for you.
because you've invested so much money, time, sacrifice, not being there with the kids on the Saturday night,
100%.
all that sort of stuff. Well,
100%.
You've got to pay for that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
That's like me, for
Like,
example.
I'm not going to go out to someone's wedding for a few $100 when I could easily be spending time with my kids and my wife and, you know, doing stuff on a Saturday night with the family. I've missed so many Saturday nights because of that line of work. My choice. But again, now I'm at that level where I can choose whether I take it or not. And there's a lot of work that I'm not taking because I just don't see it as being worthwhile.
Yeah. I mean, that's like me. You know, I've got my price. Okay, you know, a couple $100 here or there, you can like a bit of wiggling room, whatever. But you know, again, you've invested yourself. You've invested in yourself, in your business. Like, you know, you buy the best mixer, you buy the best speakers, you buy this, you buy that. You're insured, whatever. You know, it's a seamless transaction. You rock up, you set up everything that you don't need to do anything. You know, if you've got a few requests, okay, boom, I'll put that into my set. You know, then there's that, but the time as well before your set. Well, you've got to do your set list. Are they you got to take that into consideration.
On average, I spend 1 to 2 hours every Saturday morning getting my music together.
Yeah,
it's like, you know, especially being a wedding, I can't just go with the flow on the wedding.
No, that's right. No,
they want particular songs for entrance of each couple, and they want it to start from a particular point. Yeah. I can't do that shit on the fly. No. I have to be prepared.
Correct.
Yeah.
You know, so
I need to make sure that the wedding song is a very good quality version. You know, I need to edit it, make sure that everything's spick and span.
Yep.
You know, this is a wedding. People's one-time opportunity to have that memorable night.
That's like with me, you know. So I'm fully insured. You know, you got to have your public liability. You got to have, what is it? Public indemnity insurance.
Yeah.
You need to have. I'm a Dulux accredited member, so I pay, you know, nearly $1,500 a year for that. I'm a Master Builders member. You got to pay for that. You know, so you know, I'll go do training courses whenever there's a new product out. Got to go do it. Got to take time out of my day plus pay. You know, so I'm not making that money that day. So you're investing all the time. You know, and that's what I'm saying. That's a part of your pressures where some people don't see that. Well, that's why I'm a bit more expensive than Joe Blow, the other painter that's not insured, doesn't have his contractor's license, doesn't have accreditations left, right, and centre. You know, they don't know the products. They just know this, that, and whatever, the basics. So that's why you got to pay that premium because...
And that, again, with me, that comes down to, well, I've had 20 plus years experience in this industry. So you can either pay for that experience
or not,
or you can pay the kid up the road who's charging you a couple $100. But, you know, and you know, I'm a little bit hypocritical in that because I was that kid.
Well, you got to start somewhere.
I was that kid, but I wasn't doing it just as a quick money maker because I wasn't making money.
No.
At the start, I wasn't making money. It was all about training myself, getting better week in, week out, and then, you know, just gaining that experience and gaining the name. You know, now 20 plus years later, you know, people say, oh, you know, we need a Greek DJ for a wedding, or we need something like this, or, you know, oh, hey, Valandi, Bounce Entertainment, you know, one-stop shop.
Yep.
So, you know,
and
it's hard work.
I was even speaking to a mate of mine about it the other day because he's recently gone out on his own in the painting industry, and I was giving him a little bit of advice. Not that I'm a guru or anything, but people took the time when I was starting out to say, maybe do this, maybe do that. You know, we'll give you some advice. It's up to you whether you take it. And I was, you know, you pass it on, right? You know, and I was saying to him, I'm getting. He goes, well, how many clients are you getting per your quote? I said, look, at the moment, I think it was either 68 or 72% getting like the jobs that I'm quoting. So it's like, okay, so most of the people in Adelaide do appreciate your qualifications, your experience, and all that sort of stuff. But then you've got that, you know, whatever it is, 32 to 28% that don't, you know, and it's those minorities that always make you second guess yourself. Sometimes. Not anymore. I don't really care.
But you know, like there's been many times where people have rung me for a quote, and then I find out that they don't go with my quote. They go with someone who's undercut me, and that affected me. It used to affect me
at the start.
I'm like,
of course it does.
What? No, like even up to recently, it used to affect me. And I'm like, this bloke has come out of nowhere and has undercutted my price just to get the gig, right? And I'm like, I felt shitty about it because like the people that had asked for the quote were past clients. And when you can't do that repeat business for those clients that you did really well for, it starts affecting you. And like, but now it's like, okay, you know what? This is my price. You want it, take it. If you don't want it, that's fine. Because I'll either get a job elsewhere or I'll have a night off.
It's actually funny you say that too about undercutting, because it was probably about 3 weeks ago. This guy rings me up and he's building his own home, plus I think another, was it 2 or 3 houses next to him. And he calls me up. He goes, "Hey, mate, can you just give us a quote on this, this, and this?" I said, "Okay, cool." He goes, "Oh, we had this other painter, but he doesn't want to do it anymore." I was like, "Okay, no worries." Anyway, I spent probably 3 or 4 hours on these quotes, try to get into as much detail as possible, made sure my template was all nice and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, I'll say it. It came to, I think it was 36 grand, right? Now, obviously, I don't make all that. I've got materials, I've got boys to pay, all that sort of stuff. So I nowhere near make that, right? But he goes, "Oh, yeah, I left it for a week, didn't hear nothing." I gave him the quote, the day he sent me the plans, right? I wanted to be quick, new builder, and I called him. I go, "Hey, mate, just chasing up, just touching base. How'd you go?" He goes, "Oh, nah, man, we got another quote for like 22. I'm like, how's the other guy making any sort of money? That's like cost. He must be using cheaper materials.
But that goes back to your fast and cheap.
Correct.
Yeah.
Fast and cheap, subpar products, all that sort of stuff. Probably go get the paints from Bunnings, British Paints or something like that. It's like, you go for it, mate, no worries. And I didn't even... It pissed me off because the amount of, how much time I put into it.
You put so much time in the quote.
Right, and I'm thinking, this is a reasonable price for like 3 houses.
Yeah.
Inside and some of the outside. Well, that's a reasonable price, double story.
So that's what, on average, it was about 12 grand a house.
Yeah, 12 grand a house, but that's double story, inside, staircase.
Double story too.
Double story, yeah, it was like 280 square metres.
Shit.
All the eaves, and we're all using, top-end Dulux stuff, so I don't use any of the cheap shit.
See, I'll tell you a funny story, this goes a little bit before our friendship blossomed. So around the time that my dad passed, one of his units was in dire need of a paint, right? And I thought, you know what, I'll get a few quotes for my mum. And figure out what she wants to do. Now, we had this guy that was referred by my father-in-law paint my house. He did an immaculate job.
Beautiful.
And it was like, I felt like it was really cheap. But he used Dulux. He was immaculate. He left the paint behind in case we wanted to touch up anything through the future. Fantastic. He was phenomenal.
Beautiful.
So I said to him, "Oh, look, I've also got another job possibly for you. Do you mind giving me a quote for it?" Right? Now, mind you, my mum had bought in some other guys that she got through friends, some old Greek fellas and, the Bar Mitzvah up the road.
Up the road, yeah.
And, she got we're talking about a 2-bedroom masonette.
Yeah.
Right? So 2 bedrooms, a lounge room, a kitchen and a bathroom. Right? Small, not big. Inside, and then the verges on the outside and the pergola, right? She was quoted about 15 grand.
I was about to say it's probably a 3 or 4 grand job, mate.
Right? So 15 grand.
Yeah.
I got another person that I knew come in, younger guy, probably in your position, maybe 2-3 years into his own business, came in at about 12 grand. Wow. And I go...
Something's not right here.
I said, something's not right at all.
Yeah.
I've just painted my own house, 3-bedroom house with a massive fucking living area, right? Open plan living area, and even did the doors and all that shit. Like, you know, we're talking 2 bathrooms as well.
Yeah.
And the guy did it for close to $4,000.
Oh, wow.
Right?
That's cheap.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I thought, fuck, this is cheap.
Wow.
So,
How long ago was this?
4 years ago.
Oh, wow. Okay.
4 years ago. Yeah. So, you know, he did a really fucking phenomenal job. And then I said to him, look, you know, come and quote it. So he goes to me, oh, I can do this whole thing inside out. I'll even do the you know, the back part and all that. And, you know, I didn't want him to, but he offered to do it. And he goes, $3,600.
Yep. That sounds about right.
I'm like, what? And that was a lot more work than my house. Mine was just internal. This was like external. So, you know, you got to use your different types of paints for the outside.
And the outside paint's always more expensive.
And then my dad had a lot of oil-based paints on the inside. So he's like, oh, I'm going to change it using this and that. And so he scraped it all off. He covered cracks. And my God, it's like a brand new home, right? And I'm like, fuck. Some people just give quotes and go fucking on tangents.
Yeah. No, you always, and I always say it, you know, to people, even when I go quote, and sometimes it might shoot you in the foot, sometimes it won't. But I find if you be a bit more transparent with your clientele, they'll trust you more, and they probably won't go get other quotes. You know, I'll say, look, you know, go get another couple of quotes. You know, let's see if they can sort of, you know, because my quotes are extremely detailed. You know, probably a bit over the top. You know, so they know exactly what they're getting, what products we're using.
But that's in your nature.
Yeah.
You're a very detailed person.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's good. It's a good way to run a business, isn't it?
You have to.
You know?
Be very transparent.
And sometimes people don't understand the amount of work that goes into this for what the price is.
Correct.
You know, they just look at numbers and go, oh, no, we'll go with this one because it's cheaper.
No.
And like, let's look at 5 years' time, this builder that spent $22,000 instead of $36 and see what type of paint job, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, going back to the main thing, we're talking about workplace stresses and, you know, this all comes down to that. You know, I got anxiety of when, you know, people would not go with my quotes. Now it's like whatever. But in my day job now, it's like, you know, I it's stressful because I deal with 100%. A lot of really interesting clientele that, you know, has a lot of health issues.
There'll be no 2 families that you deal with the same in one day.
Yeah.
That one might be one extreme to the other.
Yeah.
You know, and you have to adjust. See, I think your job is more very like mentally draining. Like it'll be just right.
So there's days where I'll have home visits and, you know, like we're meant to be booking 15 home visits a week.
Yeah.
So I split mine over 3 days. I'll do 5 on the Monday, 5 on a Wednesday, 5 on a Friday.
Yeah.
Right. I'll give Tuesday and Thursday as my admin days or as my, you know, catch up days.
Yeah.
So today I did 6 visits today because there was one street where I had 5 houses right next to each other.
Oh, perfect.
And then one other visit that was really important to do, but elsewhere. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to book all 5 together because they're right there and it's not travel distance for me. Every single one of those homes was walk in, wow, check all the details are correct and still up to date. Accounts are fantastic. Check the smoke alarm, walk out.
Oh, wow.
All 5.
Perfect.
Right? It was brilliant. I did not have to talk about anything.
Yeah.
But these are people that have been in these houses for years.
Yeah.
So they
know the deal.
This is their home.
Yeah.
This is their home and they treat it with the utmost respect.
See, with people like that, do they is there ever like an expiry or like an eviction date? Or if they treat it well, they can live there for the rest of their lives?
No, so these are what we call ongoing leases, which means that it's their home forever.
Yeah.
Unless the department wants to sell off the home.
Okay.
or redevelop the home.
But then if they do that,
They
will that-
get transferred into another home.
Okay, so it's not like they're searching.
No.
Like it's up to the government then to put them into another home straight away.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
absolutely.
if you treat something with respect,
And they're the ones that will get looked after because they've paid their rent on time. They haven't disturbed the neighbours. They're part of that community.
normal people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is normal today?
Well,
Yeah. But those 5 houses where on average my visits would take me 15 to 20 minutes per house, right? I literally did all 5 of these in half an hour,
perfect.
right? I get to my 5th one in a different area. I was literally there for just under 2 hours. Problematic. Not paying rent. There was so many things going on. It's not funny. And, that's that one. So from the first 5 that I did going,
So 1 in
I'm on
6.
a high. This is fantastic. I'm going to be in the office soon. I don't have to be out on the road long. And I was having a shitty day as it was because I was just so tired from the weekend.
But do you know, like going to these houses, would you know that you're going to have a difficult time as opposed to those first 5? Did you know it was going to be that easy?
No, because I have never walked into these houses before.
Okay.
So I don't know the history of these unless I delve deep
Yep.
and dig. Now, this last one, I knew there was going to be a conversation about rent because on the screen I can see that they're not paying
Come
the
on.
rent,
Yep.
right? But there was no other notes to say, there might be property condition or there might be extra undeclared people or, yada, yada, yada. There was none of that there other than, I'll print out a statement to show them why they're in arrears, right? Yeah. Well, I walked into a shitstorm.
So attitude from the get-go.
And now the after effect of that is I need to work a plan for them to repay the rent
In the arrears.
plus the extra. I need to work on a plan or put what we call like a risk report in place to put services in place to help this person clean the house or link into our external services to help them.
It's just a
Right. And then, then I have to send out letters on the people that aren't meant to be living there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just, there's like
Oh, so they can't have
5 or 6. Well, our rentals are based on overall household income. Right.
gotcha.
Right. So it's subsidized rent, but it's based on the income in
couple.
the house. So a couple will be higher rent than a single person.
Yes.
Right. But
Yep.
that single person could move into 4 different types of homes and his rent will never change because it's all based on his income. Right. So, for example, like, government rentals are 25% of income.
Yep. Okay.
If you make $100 a week, your rent is 25.
Shit.
Right. So, majority of our clientele are on government pensions or payments.
Yep.
So it's 25% of income.
Yep.
Right.
But I'm sure.
The more people that are declared in that house.
Well, it's 25% of your wage, 25% of your wage, 25%
Correct.
of your wage.
Correct. So the rent could become $75 out of the 300 that is overall income. Yeah. So so that's how we base our rent.
The gist of it. Okay.
When you have undeclared people living in there, you're already in the system.
But do they know you're coming?
Well, obviously, because they get a letter 2 weeks out to say that I'm coming.
Oh, so they can piss these guys off.
I give 4. Yeah, exactly. But some people aren't that wise and go, oh yeah. And then, it's like you walk in this house where there's only one person meant to be living, yet all 3 bedrooms have beds that look like people have been sleeping in there. The beds haven't been made.
So not very
Right.
bright people.
And there's it's a male, yet there's female clothes hanging off the. Now, I don't care what people do in their private time, but you could tell this wasn't a bloke doing something in his private time. Yeah. This
gotcha.
was a bloke that has a female living there. Yeah.
It's 25%, man. Come on.
Yeah, it is. But, and these are also the people that don't pay their rent.
So they're getting killer benefits, yet they still want more.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Aye.
Pretty much.
Okay.
But that's how it is. That's workplace pressures for you, man.
Workplace pressures and stresses.
Yeah, and then on top of that, we've got KPIs that we need to stick by. So, like the 15 visits a week. We have to work on our debt repayment and make sure that, our clients are 85% not in arrears. And it's just, there's a lot. And it's getting, it's all filtered down from, the big director, and this is what we need to focus on. And
then
mind you, I've got 400, 500 properties that I have to look after.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
So, and then, there might be actually someone that's genuine, really down in their luck and all that sort of stuff, and then you feel like a fucking prick going in there sometimes,
Oh, look.
Or is it people?
I don't because when I find someone that's genuinely in trouble or in need, just really struggling, that's my opportunity to link them into services.
You go, like you were saying before, where that lady was really nice, went the extra mile. For you, if they're actually genuine, you'll go that extra mile.
Absolutely. But if someone's been an outright prick to me, that's my opportunity to say, you know what? You're not following the conditions of tenancy.
Yeah.
I'm going to take this further. You don't deserve this. So
Because there'll be other people out there that actually do deserve it.
Oh, yeah, man. From the last time I heard it, the public waiting list was, 40 to 50 plus thousand people.
So how many is it? How long is that in like months or years?
We've only got 30-odd thousand homes in South Australia.
Fuck, that's
Maybe
not
a bit more, but it's not much at all. Not what it used to be. A lot of homes have been sold off, and the government's building more now.
But
by the time they get built,
all these people are couch surfing and all that sort of stuff, or being literally just homeless on the street.
But that's the thing, there's a lot of people that are in dire need and they're couch surfing, but just declare it. And at least we know that you're living in that house.
Well, that's right. Yeah. Just be honest.
Anyway, I'm not going to get too much into my work.
Yeah.
Let's go into Bloke's Bits.
Yes.
I want to get a little bit controversial.
Uh-oh.
This is
Bloke's Bits.
Bloke's Bits. Controversial.
Oh no, Valandia, what are you doing?
Something I haven't really touched on a lot. We have touched on it a little bit in this podcast, but controversial because this is definitely a very big mental health thing, especially the last few years. Yeah. We were talking before about a young 8-year-old kid, and just as recent as yesterday, a soccer player in Albania.
Yeah, so he was playing in the Albanian league.
Yeah.
And he was a former Ghana international.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're talking about a very fit person.
28 years old.
28-year-old fit footballer and an 8-year-old kid that was the face of an Israeli vaccine campaign. Cardiac arrest.
Yeah.
We all know where that links into. Now, we know that this vaccine has caused a lot of strife throughout the world.
Yep.
People were forced to make a choice. Take it and be okay, or don't take it, lose your job, lose your life, lose everything, right? Now, I know a lot of people who stood their ground, didn't touch it, lost their job, but have bounced back.
Happened to my sister.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was in a good paying job for how do I put it? Like she was like workplace injuries and people, they obviously need assistance and all that sort of stuff. And they said if you don't take the vaccine, you're no longer required. And she said, "Well, sorry, I'm not doing it," and she lost her job.
Yep. And has she bounced back now?
Yeah, she's the customer service manager at PFD Foods.
Oh, there you go.
So she's running the show there.
Cool. So, you've got good news stories like that. I know some of my friends who were working in very big financial institutions.
Yep.
Got told you have to take it. They said no. They got let go. and now they're back in other financial institutions that have since ceased the requirement to have it. They're back in the position they were, before that.
Yep.
So, but there are those people where they've lost everything.
Yep.
And from losing everything, they've committed suicide. And they've done a lot. What are your thoughts? I mean, I'll be straight out. I didn't have to, but I took one shot of the vaccine, not two, just the one, because I thought that it was going to be introduced in my workplace, and I didn't want to risk the chance of losing my job.
Yep.
I was put in that position where I'm like, well, where the hell will I go if I lose my job? Also with DJing, many function centres,
Oh, well, yeah, that too.
didn't allow me to enter if I didn't have the vaccine done. So I'm like, well, you know what? Like, we can have the one shot
Yeah.
and see how we go from there. But by the time I went for was going to go for the second one, it's like all these different laws got lifted.
Yeah.
So I didn't need to take it.
Oh, so you left it pretty late.
Yeah, I pushed it as hard as I could.
Yeah.
That because I wasn't being forced by my work to get it.
Okay.
I just had this
Which
feeling.
is strange, though, because you're going into people's houses.
Correct.
Okay.
But we were never forced to take it.
Oh.
It was recommended,
Yeah.
but never forced upon.
Look, I was more, and look, I'm no fucking scientist, okay, but it just came out really quickly, and I was extremely skeptical about, what the longer term effects are, and all that sort of stuff. So I wasn't really keen to get it, and I didn't get it up until, there's some clients I lost because they said, look, we don't feel comfortable you coming in my home. It was probably only out of, say, 10 jobs in that, sort of period, it was only like maybe 3 jobs that I lost because of it. So it wasn't really a work thing. But when we were going through the whole IVF to try and have Theodore, they didn't make me get it. It was when like follow-up appointments. So if I wanted to go with Katrina to go for ultrasounds, and all that, the obstetrician and all that sort of stuff, I had to get it. If I wanted to be there for the birth of my son, I had to get it. So I was like, fuck, my back's up against the wall here. And I even said to Katrina, like, because we had a trip booked to the Gold Coast and all that sort of stuff, and she was like, "Oh, so what? You're not going to get it if we can't go interstate?" I said, "No, I don't give a fuck. I'll wait in Adelaide, just keep working until they can't hold it. They can't do it forever." So I was like, going on a holiday not going on a holiday, not being allowed to go on a holiday isn't enough for me to go get it. But they fucking got me with. After everything that happened with our daughter, I'm like, there's no way I'm going to miss any appointments. So I had to go get 2 shots of Pfizer. So I had to go get it. That's the only way they would have got me, is not being able to go to appointments and be there for the birth. So, yeah. So look, you know what? If you want to get, like, for people that wanted to get it, go for it. For me, I'm not going to be that, you went and got it. Fuck, you're an idiot.
Oh, no, absolutely. And you're exactly right. Like, each person has their own choice.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like a flu shot. You want to go get a flu shot? Go get a flu shot.
Yeah, I've done the flu shot once, and I got so damn sick from it. I've never taken it again.
Yeah.
Like, I got so sick. Yeah. I've never had the flu that bad.
Yeah.
That's how much I hate that.
Yeah.
It amazes me. It amazes me that all of a sudden we're seeing fit athletes carking it.
Yep.
On the ground.
Yep.
This has never been seen before.
No.
Very rare that people collapse on the ground playing intense sport.
Yep. You're
but kids.
Yeah, kids too. Like you're hearing, even like the other day I heard that a 27-year-old guy had a heart attack, died. And it's like, didn't smoke, never drank, used to go to the gym. There's no reason why you should have a heart attack. You're hearing about it all now. A friend of mine, his father-in-law, they literally put it down to, he had no heart disease, he had no nothing. He was probably in his 50s. All of a sudden, just had a heart attack a week before he got the second jab or third jab. Yeah. So look, I'm not going to sit here and bring all that shit up again, but now it's like we're seeing, injuries from this vaccine.
Mm.
Why now? Like, obviously, COVID's obviously still around, but it's obviously been.
But no one talks about it anymore, do they?
No. Like, the other day I heard there was a new strain. I'm like, oh, fucking relax, will ya? Like,
oh yeah. Oh, there'll be a new strain by Christmas.
Yeah.
But we've been copying that for the last few years now.
Yeah.
No one's really talking about COVID anymore. Like someone at work had COVID last week and came into work today.
Mm.
Oh, just stay away from me because I had COVID last week, but I've tested negative today.
Yeah.
I'm like, whatever.
Okay. Look, and you're going to have some people are very passionate about it. Some people are very passionate not getting the vaccine, but it's like, mate, everyone's entitled to an opinion. Look, I'm not a healthcare professional. I'm just looking at.
I just come from the belief that, sure, it's a vaccine for COVID, great, whatever, but it shouldn't have been forced upon people. Just like the flu jab is not forced upon people.
Correct.
The vaccine should not have been forced, and it shouldn't have been the be-all and end-all of employment. Lots of businesses shut down. Lots of people lost their jobs because of this goddamn vaccination, right? Let alone lots of people lost their business and their lives because the government closed down the states. Shut down Australia, and I know 3 people off the top of my head who had to shut down their coffee shops or restaurants because of COVID.
I started my business November 2019 in the middle of the bushfires, right? And then so I had a job in November, December, and early January, right? And then this whole COVID thing happened. So for me, I'm 3 months into my business, and then this happens. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And luckily it didn't really affect the trade too much. There was obviously the Woodville Pizza Bar. Everyone had to fucking go home or whatever. But nah, like I got COVID once. Obviously, I had to quarantine for 16 days. Because Katrina got it first, and then at the end of her quarantining, then I tested positive the next day.
Yeah, right. Hang on.
So back then it was.
When was that? Was that 20 or 21?
What's that? When
you got it?
To quarantine. Well, hold on. What year are we in now? 2023. Katrina was. I think it was 2021 because. Katrina got it twice being pregnant with Theodore.
Yeah, right.
Right. Yeah.
Well, knock on wood, to this day, I haven't had it.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
That's all right. It's like my brother-in-law. He fucking never gets it.
The wife had it.
Yeah.
The wife had it. I never got it.
Yeah.
My father-in-law, mother-in-law got it. My brother-in-law got it. My mum hasn't had it, from what I know. And my sister hasn't had it. I haven't had it. My kids haven't had it.
Look, when I got it, like all I felt was a little bit tired and my throat was a little bit scratchy. Apart from that, that was it. No shortness in breath, none of that. I didn't get any of that. Even Katrina, like Dimitri got it as well. Fucking wouldn't even know.
Yeah, right.
Katrina got it the first time. She was fine. The second time she got it, because she was a bit more heavily pregnant,
it hit her hard.
Fucked. Yeah, she was fucked.
I remember just after things started opening up, I DJ'd at a house party, right? and someone at that party had COVID, and it spread like wildfire through that whole party.
Yeah.
Apparently, every single guest at that party ended up with COVID the following week. I didn't get it.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I was in the action.
Maybe because you were sitting down drinking your alcohol. Because if you stood up, fuck, you would have got it.
Well, I was standing up most of the night. Then again, no, I did have a stool with me.
Yeah, there you go. You remember that shit? You could go to a pub,
I know.
but you had to sit down and drink your beer.
And how about this? I did three events, weddings, where it was either dancing on the dance floor or alcohol.
Yeah.
You had to pick out of those two. And one party was like, okay, we'll pick the alcohol.
Yeah.
But we'll hire a DJ to play background music.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Why would you pay me to just sit there as a jukebox in the background?
Oh, just fucking play an MP3
And then
for you.
the other party was like, oh, we'll have the DJ just to do the dancing. It was the most awkward night I've ever DJ'd at, because it's like, okay, there was those people that always naturally dance, but you know, at parties, it's usually the people that drink a few.
Yeah.
That get really into it at the end of the night.
Yeah.
Never got that.
No, I don't know. Like, even, look, I'm not saying COVID wasn't a serious thing, because, look, people did lose their lives and all that. But people lose their lives with, like, say, just the flu. And you didn't see the media beating their chests about it.
I just feel like it got to the point where people having heart attacks and dying of other means were getting reported as COVID deaths.
Oh, yeah. What was it? So-and-so died of heart complications, but also had COVID.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It was.
Yeah.
I think we can.
Local fish and chip shop owner Nick died of cancer, but he had COVID.
But he also had COVID related death. Look, I'm not going to say, we're going to sit here and laugh about it now or laugh about it in 5 years' time, because look, some of the rules and regulations and all that sort of shit was just a bit out of control, I think. What I just said before, you're at a pub, but you have to sit down and have your bev, because if you stood up, you're going to get COVID. You know, but yeah.
What about if you stood up eating your sausage roll?
Well, I think it's, if you're eating or drinking, you had to be sitting.
Wow.
I think it was that.
Wow.
You know, so it's just...
I know it was only yesterday, yet we feel like it was so long ago, and no one really talks about it anymore.
And man, it nearly lasted, it lasted like 2.5, 3 years.
Yeah.
And it was
2020, 21,
22?
and parts of 22.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 2.5 years, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just like...
By mid-22, it felt like everything was back to normal.
Back to normal.
Yeah.
So you had to, oh, fuck, do I got to wear a mask? Oh, shit, I forgot my mask in the car. Stuff like that. It's just, I piss myself even now. Like, I'll see people driving in the car by themselves with a fucking mask on.
Oh, that shits me to tears,
I'm
man.
like, mate, there's no one in your fucking car, mate.
Shits me to tears.
You know, like, I get it. If people still, like, it's very rare now. Like, I'll see people walking around with masks. Like, okay, whatever. Used to see that. Like,
but even walking around, like I saw someone walking down Bagot Avenue near the park wearing a mask by themselves.
It's like, mate,
are you shitting me? Like, take it off and breathe the fresh air.
And you know what? Like, I remember because Katrina used to work at David Jones, so they obviously had to wear the mask all day, every day. And she would be getting like rashes around like her chin, top of her lips, all that sort of stuff. It's like
because that moisture was trapped inside,
trapped in her mask.
Yeah,
it's like you're doing more bad than good. Like you're literally breathing in carbon dioxide.
You are, because you're breathing out into that mask. It gets caught, and you're breathing it back in.
Correct.
Right? There was no way for fresh air to come in.
Correct. So all day
those masks are made for quick surgeries.
Yes.
So that whoever is operating doesn't allow anything to fall from their face.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
Yeah.
But, that's the society we had to live in. Yeah. How about the don't touch the ball? Like, Nicola Spirio saying about the football, if the player kicks the ball out of bounds and it goes over the fence, don't touch the ball because it might have COVID
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
at the footy.
No, I also remember her saying, I remember, was it New Year's Eve? She said something about, you can't have anyone over or anyone can't go anywhere or whatever. So, yeah, just have a glass of wine and sit on top of your alfresco roof or something. She said something.
Yeah, something like that, and watch the fireworks.
I was like, well, how are you supposed to let off fireworks if no one can leave their house?
Yeah. Cheers with your neighbour across the road from your rooftop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking bullshit.
And then, some people.
I remember, it was Christmas 21. And I took my kids to see Santa at West Lakes Shopping Centre.
They got to sit.
They had to sit 5 meters away from Santa for the photo. It was the most awkward photo that we've had.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck was the point of that?
What's the point? I'll take you $100.
And we still had to pay full price.
Yeah, take you $100.
Bullshit. But yeah, that's that. So next week's episode, we're gonna be doing a debriefing on International Men's Day. So that will be the next episode. And then we've got you back in a couple of weeks' time. Yeah.
So you got Petros, if he decides to rock up.
Yeah, that's right, because I might be doing a last-minute call-up. Hey, we need to do another podcast. But thank you again. You know what? It's just good that we can have open chats.
Yeah.
And that's where this podcast is going to end up going, guys, because I've had a lot of people reach out to come onto the podcast after my episode with the One Nation politician. I've had a lot of other politicians reach out.
Oh, beautiful.
And go, we really want to come on.
Yep.
And we want to discuss a few things as well about, our opinions and stuff. And I go, look, you know what? I don't care what side of politics people sit on. If you want to come in and talk about your policies, we're going to have an open chat.
Yep.
And we're going to fire off those questions that may be controversial or may not. It's
look, there are always both sides and all that sort of stuff. So it's always good to get, a bit of column A, a bit of column B, and then everyone else makes up their own mind.
Absolutely. Yep. Because we're here to express our own opinion. But at the same time, it doesn't mean our opinion's right. So, yeah, that's Two Blokes in the Pod for another episode. And we'll stay in touch. Make sure you do send us your questions and any comments you have, feedback.
Yep.
Tell us how shit Stamati is, or, would you prefer Petros, whatever. No, I'm joking. Just send us anything you like. Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok, Two Blokes in a Pod, and email twoblokesinaPod@gmail.com. Thanks,
Awesome.
guys.
Thanks, guys.